Hey everyone, Chris here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book unhaul. I've got a pretty decent stack of books to unhaul, so let's just dive right in. So first up, I'm going to talk about some books that just don't sound interesting to me anymore. I have been trying to go through all of the books I have in my house that I have had for years and see if they are still interesting to me and still appeal to me, and this first group are part of that, and these ones just don't appeal to me anymore. First up, we have Murder at the PTA by Laura Alden. I believe this is like a cozy mystery type book, and it just doesn't interest me. I think I might have even read it at one point, but I'm not interested in rereading it or picking it up, so I decided to unhaul it. Marty Bones by Carolyn Haynes. I actually want to say that this might not even be the first book in the series, and that is part of why I decided to unhaul it, because the series as a whole didn't appeal to me, and since this isn't even the first book, I decided I wasn't even going to try it. Death of an Irish Diva by Molly Cox Bryan. This is another one that I believe is not the first book in the series, and again, the series didn't sound interesting enough for me to pick up the first book. Catered St. Patrick's Day by Isis Crawford. I want to say this is deep into the series. Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of ones before that, and again, it didn't sound interesting. I was into cozy mysteries quite a bit when I was in my early 20s, and it's just not a genre that I pick up as frequently, so I'm unhauling a lot of these books just because it doesn't interest me anymore, and I'm hoping to eventually get them into the hands of somebody who is interested in them. A Cast Off Coven by Juliet Blackwell. Again, this is one I think I've read, and I just don't plan to continue on with the series, so why not unhaul it? And the last in this group is Drop Dead Gorgeous by Mary Janice Davidson. And I mean, this one isn't even that long of a book, but I also think it's another one where it is further along in a series, and I don't particularly want to pick up the series, so I'm unhauling this. The next two books I'm unhauling are due to the author. I was watching one of Jess Owen's book community posts, and this author came up, and I didn't like some of the stuff she said, and I will link that video where Jess talks about what she did in the comments below, but I am unhauling A Shadow Bright and Burning and A Poison Dark and Drowning by Jessica Cluess. I have read book one, and I think I gave it like 4 stars, so I was definitely curious about book 2, but after some of the comments that Jessica said, I've decided that I'm going to unhaul both of these. Oop. I also have Double Trouble by Claire Cross. This should have been in the first section with all the other cozy mysteries that I unhauled. This, I want to say, is the second book, and I think I got this from my aunt's house when I was visiting, and I needed something to read, and I just remember picking it up, and I brought it home and finished it, but it's actually, I think, the second book in the series, and I'm just not interested in this series anymore. Next up, I'm going to talk about a handful of books that I either got in 2019 or 2020, and I went through my shelves and was just checking to see if the books on my shelves still interest me, and these are ones that just didn't appeal to me, so I'm not really going to talk in depth about them. I'm just going to show you what they are. First up, we have The Library of Light and Shadow by M.J. Rose. Then The Magnolia League by Katie Crouch. The Mill River Redemption by Darcy Chan. Greyfax Grimwald by Niall Hancock, and Squaring the Circle by Niall Hancock. These are books 1 and 4. I have no idea how I ended up with 1 and 4 and did not have the second 2, but I'm unhauling them. And those are the books that I just lost interest in. The second to last set of books I'm going to tell you about are books where I've read the first book in the series and it didn't interest me enough to continue on in the series. So first up we have A Spectacle of Corruption by David Liss. I read the first book in the series, I think, earlier last year, and it just, if memory serves, it was a slog to get through. Like, I just didn't want to pick it up, so I decided to unhaul the second book. I think this one's first. Crystal Blade and Frozen Rain by Catherine Purdy. I read the first book, and I remember not being hugely into it, and by the time I was done with the first book, I felt like it almost kind of ended in a way where, like, it could have been a standalone, and I wasn't hugely invested. It was, I believe there was, like, a love triangle, and it just was not my kind of book, so I just decided to kind of treat it as a standalone and call it done after the first book, and I had absolutely no desire to pick up these two. And the last two in this section are The Evolution of Mara Dyer and The Becoming of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodkin. So I want to say I read The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, which is the first book in this series. And this is like a companion series, I believe. I liked it, and it did leave on like a cliffhanger where I kind of wanted to pick up book 2, but then I just never got around to picking it up. And I don't really have a drive or a need at this point to pick up book 2, and I figure if I haven't picked it up by now, I'm probably not going to, and so I decided it made more sense to unhaul these. And the last book I want to talk about is a book I DNF'd. That would be To Capture What We Cannot Keep by Beatrice Collin. I got about 100 pages into this book, and I felt like nothing had happened. That literally the first 100 pages were nothing. There was no point in reading them. I was not caring about either of the main characters, and I just knew that I did not care to finish this book, and so I don't see it being one of those DNFs where it's like a temporary DNF, and I DNF'd it for now, and I will pick it up later, so I've decided to unhaul it. So these are the books that I'm unhauling. I don't know if you can see them all. Hopefully you can. Are there any books on here that you think I should give another try to? Let me know in the comment section below. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a stack of book emojis. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!